So last topic here for the day, unless something crazy breaks while we're on air. The USC Trojans, Lincoln Riley, a huge season up ahead for him. I mean, I would say this is make or break. Really, you can't have another season like you had this last year, which you saw some progress on the defensive side of the ball. You retain your defensive coordinator, D'Anton Lynn, who is a Penn State alum, played there. There was some talk about him potentially going over to Penn State. Obviously, they ended up getting Jim Knowles from Ohio State, so they're very happy about that. But there's progress there. Offensively, up and down, you got to marry both sides of the ball now. And it starts with continuing to add talent to the roster, which they've lost a lot, but they've also done a great job between last year's recruiting class and then the portal cycle here. And they have a huge weekend coming up for the next recruiting class.
Yeah, this is a loaded weekend. And I think here's the theme overall with this recruiting class. You've brought in Chad Bowden from Notre Dame. According to reports, he was making about $300,000 at Notre Dame to be their GM. Now he's the GM of USC, making almost or up to $1 million. So this is really about Chad Bowden, who helped assemble a championship roster at Notre Dame, which without the best budget in the world, a lot of great evaluations, a lot of great system fits, a clear identity for what he wanted at Notre Dame and what you saw on the field. And that, to me, is what USC needs. When you think about USC when they're winning championships, strong offensive line, strong defensive line, strong running game, premier receivers, pro-style quarterbacks. That was the formula. I think the offensive line has fallen off considerably from USC's prime, and USC is a program historically that has had some of the best offensive linemen we've ever seen in football. That's fallen off. The defensive line, the consistency of the defensive line, I think is far beyond the days of, guys like Sean Cody, which you used to have where you had first, second rounders every single year at USC. It's just not what it used to be up front. I think those are two areas you'd like to see improve. And also keeping talent home. I'm looking at the California rankings according to the 247 composite for the 2025 recruiting class. I'm just going to go by the schools, not the players. These are the top 10 players where they went to school. Alabama. Number 2 is USC. Husan Longstreet, quarterback of the future, absolute cannon, looked spectacular in the Polynesian Bowl. So you got number 1 player, Deshonne Redeaux, in Alabama, number 2 going to USC. But then look at after that. Alabama, that's 3 of the top 4. Notre Dame with Chad Bowden. Texas A&M. Then you go back to Southern California, Matai Tagoa, linebacker from San Clemente. But now you go back. Texas A&M again. Penn State. Texas A&M again. And then University of Miami. You got Alabama, Texas A&M getting multiple players in your top 10 in California. Geography, was not my strong suit, but clearly something is off there. When a guy like Hayden Lowe, right in your backyard at a position that you need help, that pass rush position, he's committed to USC, flips to University of Miami on the other side of the map. That's a problem if you're USC. Off to a much better start this year in 26, even without Chad Bowden, you're the number 3 class in the country. But clearly by bringing in someone like that and paying that much money, you want to crank it up. And this weekend, which that's what we're talking about, this huge recruiting weekend, you've got a lot of these top local guys on campus. You're talking about Davon Benjamin, number 5 player in the state, safety out of Westlake Village Oaks Christian. He's on campus. RJ Sermons and Brandon Lockhart already committed, which is a great start. Talanoa Ili from Orange, California. He's going to be on campus. Mark Bowman, tight end who just reclassified from the class of 27. I saw him in person during the OT 7-on-7 in Tampa this past year. Outstanding talent. He caught a long touchdown. Even though he was one of the youngest players in attendance, he stood out big time. Vance Spafford, a wide receiver from Mission Viejo, who's committed to Georgia. Another guy that I saw in person at that OT 7-on-7. Extremely fast, can make plays down the field. Really, really talented player. So you're talking about multiple guys in the top 10 that are already committed.
This is Deshonne Redeaux, the running back.
Okay, so now we're looking at Deshonne Redeaux. Yeah. So now we're going out of state, but another extremely talented, dynamic player who is on campus. Top 300, top 247 running back. Also have Simote Katoanga, edge rusher, highly rated. Samuelu Utu, 4-star offensive lineman. He's on campus as well. So it's not just guys that are local. You got guys all over the place. Trent Mosley, wide receiver, Notre Dame-USC battle. Got another wide receiver who just visited Oregon, Kayden Dixon-Wyatt, a 4-star receiver. You mentioned Mark Bowman, but you got Israel Briggs on campus, Caleb Tafua, another highly rated tight end on campus. So a lot of tight ends. Mark Bowman, to me, being the best of the bunch, the recent reclass. Anthony Davis, another 4-star
Here's
linebacker.
Mark Bowman highlights here.
Yeah, just watch this guy. This guy's you could see why he reclassified. He's a man amongst boys in that 27 class. So
Canes Cats Heat 305 says Mark Bowman's going to Georgia. Todd Hartley's going to get him.
We'll see. We'll see how Lincoln Riley's had some success with tight ends, more so in Oklahoma than at USC, but that's someone that he's clearly targeting. You got Josh Holland on campus, Madden Riordan, Jamiron Baker. I mentioned the Sermons and Lockhart committed already there, Xavier Griffin. In terms of the 27 class, it's about elite guys. Number 2 player overall, Richard Wesley. Number 1 cornerback overall nationally, Duvay Williams. Number 2 cornerback nationally, Havon Finney Jr. So just a lot of juice on campus, including this man right here, Bowman. But one of the names that, to me, I'm watching extremely close if I am a USC fan is Ryder Lyons. That's the quarterback. He's up in Folsom High School there in Sacramento. His teammate, Jamison Powell, just committed to Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin is hot on the trail of Ryder Lyons. Ryder Lyons, a quarterback that's been projected to USC for a while. USC's been on him, but Ole Miss is making a strong push. Is he looking at Hussein Longstreet and saying, man, this guy looks like the quarterback of the future. I don't necessarily want to compete with him for 3 years. Maybe he sees a better opportunity to play at Ole Miss. Maybe it's just Lane Kiffin putting on the pressure. But if USC continues to press on Ryder Lyons, you could be looking at a showdown between 2 of the top offensive minds in the country, with Lincoln Riley and Lane Kiffin going after Ryder Lyons. But as of now, I just went through all these names on this big recruiting weekend. Ryder Lyons is not one of them. So that's something to watch. Who's the quarterback of the future going to be for USC?
And here's the Ryder Lyons highlights from this past season.
Yeah, he is a super exciting player, man. I love watching him, just the way he moves around. He is, look how dynamic he is, man. He is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, no, you'd imagine it'd be a good fit, but Lincoln Riley, I mean, look, he's very picky with his quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, he is, he is extremely discerning. One thing with Ryder Lyons I should mention is he is somebody who potentially could take a mission trip. So that could affect his timing. I mentioned Hussein Longstreet being a competitor. Maybe the timing works out where he's coming in as Longstreet takes off. So that's something else to consider with him. But he's a really dynamic player that has been projected to USC, but is starting to get Ole Miss buzz.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if he ends up in Ole Miss. He has to do the mission before Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's a tough place. They'll test anybody's faith over there.